As the original release date of the N64 gets farther away, it's getting a bit harder to get a hold of everything you need to run the game since, again, emulator is not allowed on the rankings. eBay, Amazon, and Craigslist are probably going to be your best friends here, as I've found most retro game stores charge way too much. You'll need a console that works in your region, and an accompanying GoldenEye cartridge. There are 3 regions for N64s, NTSC, PAL, and NTSC-J. If you live in the Americas, get an NTSC console and NTSC cart. If you live in Australia, Asia, or Europe, PAL is most likely to be the easiest to find. Obviously, if you already have a console, cart, etc. from your childhood or someone else's, you're good to go. You can ignore NTSC-J, which is the Japanese version for the moment, but do be aware that NTSC and NTSC-J are compatible with some minor adjustments, however PAL and either NTSC versions are not. I do not recommend getting an NTSC-J console unless it's the easiest thing to get a hold of. I will go over version differences and in particular the uses for NTSC-J in a different video. You'll need a display that works with whatever region you choose, as most PAL displays do not work with the 2 NTSC versions and vice versa. It is highly encouraged that you try and get a hold of an early 2000s era CRT, because the input lag is much lower to non-existent on CRTs compared to the modern LCDs. You are, of course, free to start off on an LCD, myself and many other new players have. I achieved DAM 53 and Runway 22 on LCD, but I can attest you'll want to switch as soon as you can. There are many different sizes available. Some people prefer smaller screens, like MW's karaoke machine that he uses right here, while others prefer average size screens, and I personally love my 27-inch. The biggest things with TVs is the input delay, which I mentioned earlier. So, if you can, test out the TV before purchasing. I got my CRT off of Facebook Marketplace, and others have used eBay and Craigslist. One of the biggest parts of speedrunning GoldenEye is your controller. You're going to need a good quality official Nintendo 64 controller. Third-party controllers are way too sensitive and generally trash. Even in the official controllers, the analog sticks wear out over time, so make sure to test the controller if you can. If not, search around eBay for tight or 8 to 9 out of 10 sticks. Many of these things, consoles, TVs, carts, controllers, can also be found if you ask around the elite. Some eliters hunt down good controllers and carts and sell them into the community. For instance, I got an excellent controller that I've used a little bit from the Tetris and Air Force One legend Kevin DDR. Those are the bare necessities. However, I really suggest getting a capture setup as early as you possibly can. Sure, you're allowed to play and post sometimes without video, and chances are high you won't start out getting DAM 53 on your 3rd run ever, but having a capture setup that works is going to be absolutely required if you want any good times on the rankings, as well as being able to get feedback on your runs. If you can't show anyone a video of your play, they can't tell you what you're doing wrong and what you can improve on. There are several options for this. I used an extremely janky setup when I first started, including a MacBook Air, an HDMI capture card, and a VGA to HDMI converter. Don't do this if you can avoid it. You're welcome to go old school and get a VHS or DVD recorder to run your N64 through. I use this as a backup recording, however, and it doesn't always produce the best quality. The best way to go is to get a proper capture card. Many eliters, myself included, suggest and use the GV USB 2, and there are others that also suggest the Dazzle or EasyCap. I've included links in the description to capture resources to get you started, as well as an Amazon link to both the GV USB 2 and Dazzle. Be warned, there are no Mac drivers for the GV USB 2, but if you want to get serious about speedrunning this game, you're probably going to be better off with something that can run Windows at the end of the day. There are capture cards that can run on Mac, but you'll have to do more research to dig one out. You'll also need a splitter so you can play on your TV and still record on your laptop or PC. I've had so many technology troubles over the last couple months getting started. I know I'm definitely not the guy to go into detail about this, so please check out the links I've included below. Anyway, once you get your capture setup working and you have some vids, I highly encourage you to contact the proof moderators and send them a link of your vids so that they can check over them and make sure everything meets proof standards. The mods are all really friendly and you can easily reach out to them via the forums or Discord, whichever you prefer. That wraps it up for the equipment that you'll need to get started. In the next video, we'll finally turn the game on and get started playing.